I wanted to say something that I think it's actually really important when it comes down to especially skill development. It was because I had my own not frustration. I guess I'll just say what happened. So I was at the boxing club last weekend with my kid, and I don't typically watch, but I said, hey, because for whatever reason, it was just him going in, and I said, I want to watch a little bit, just see some of the stuff because I'm very interested in boxing. Did a little when I was younger, and so anyways, I went in there and I talked to the boxing coach. I said I might start jumping in on this. He goes, yeah, for sure. He goes, it'd be good for you. I go, yeah, for sure. So this older guy comes up to me. He's in the boxing club. So in this boxing club, what I love about it is it's to me it's like the fairest place in the world because if when you walk into this place, you can see old guys, young guys, out of shape people, people without teeth, people with teeth, uh, girls, boys, black, white, whatever you are, tattooed, no tattooed. You can be affluent, if that's a word. You could be dead broke that lives down the street from the boxing club. But at the end of the day, when you go in there, it's fair. You either work hard and you're humble, and you do the job, and you learn, and you work hard, and you get better, or you get humbled. So when I was there, this older guy comes up to me, and older, be much older to you, but probably 20 years on me. So he's probably 70. He comes over and he goes, "I hear you're going to start boxing." So I said, "Yeah, next week I might." So he goes, "Why don't we go in the back and do a little bit?" So I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we went in the back, and I haven't been in a boxing club in a long time, but so I went back there. He said, "Well, show me your stance." So I get in the stance, and he goes, "Oh, that's pretty good." So then he takes my hand and he starts just touch, go this way. He goes and he explains why, because if you hit someone hard, break your hand. I said, "Yep, fair enough." Working on my stance, right? Throwing a jab, a little different than the way I've thrown a jab, but a little bit, but it took a little bit of when something's natural, right? You do something one way, it takes thought process to do it, footwork, all this kind of stuff. So then he was working on defense, and he was asking me questions, trying to trick answers, which is fine. I get that, but he's a teacher, and there's a couple times where I was like, "Yeah, because blah blah blah." And he goes, "Well, he wanted to be the boss," and I'm like, "I'm good with that." So, anyways, as he was doing this, I was sitting there in my own mind because I know it made me think of what my students might do. So I was doing this. I was going to say, no, I already know. Like I know that part. And what I wanted to do is kind of speed through the very, very basic parts of the boxing. And then I caught myself and I said, no, be humble. This guy's giving you your time, and he actually knows what he's doing. He's working with you. He knows more than you do. You might learn something. This is going through my mind at rapid pace, and it's about being humble. It's about having the respect and taking it. And the other thing that went through my mind is how I have students, and I know that when when I pull them aside, and I know it's the most important thing, and they kind of I know, yeah, you got it, and they go through that. It frustrates me because
That's
I
interesting.
know
Yeah.
because I know that you want to get to if it's A, B, C, D, you want to get to C, D right away,
Mhm.
but you'll never get there without really spending the time on A. And spending the time on A is a pain in the ass because you're not good. So you might have so let's just say in shooting, right? That your shot comes off fairly hard. Okay, let's just say that's the thing. But if I pull you in now and I say your shot is fairly hard, but it's not accurate, or it's readable by everybody in the building. So we have to fix that part. So what we're gonna have to do is go back to the nitty gritty beginning of it, and it might be puck placement, it might be hand placement, it might be um, something along those lines. Or having the puck not too far out, all those different things, and that little step there is different than what you've always done. So now it takes time. So now it takes concentration, and now you will, no matter who you are, be frustrated. And in order to get to that next step, you have to get through the frustrating part. So back to the boxing club again. When I was doing my jab, he wanted me, so not that anyone could see my footwork, but I was used to like kind of like driving all power from my toes to my to my hands, right? And all in one step. But what they wanted me to do is start throwing first and then power through, right? And then it was like that was really awkward because I'm 53 and I've been throwing punches. I went to boxing club when I was about 14. I did that for not 3, maybe 2 years in and out. And it was a different than I've ever thrown a punch. So talk about rewiring. So the simplest thing that you think you can do, you know how to throw a punch. Huh?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Not the way not effectively. So then we went from there to footwork. So me being an athlete, always really driving my hips and turning my, that pivot foot,
Yep.
really turning the heel. But he didn't want me to do it as much. So he was tweaking footwork, talking about inches. So I loved it though, because that's what I do on the ice. So it was like, go through that process to get it, and then you get the okay. And then, so do I have it now? No.
Yeah.
No, not a chance. But as I'm watching these people in the gym, I'm watching and I'm going, look at I'm watching Josh, how good he is. And it's like, there's the tweaking of those little tiny things. And like, when people think that they can actually fight, and you get a guy like that, or a pro boxer that does this for a living, it's like, you don't have a chance, man. They know how to fight,
Yeah.
So that was first. You gonna add something to that?
Oh yeah.
I got lots to go on here, by the way.
I got tons on that. So first of all, Border City Boxing Club is one of the best places
I love it.
in the area. I went there probably for same thing on and off for maybe 10 years. And I remember the older guy you're talking about was there when I was there. So I started there in grade 7, and I did it all the way up until I was 21, when my trainer that was there, who was also named Josh, he ended up moving out west. And so I'd been doing it for on and off for 10 years, and it is exactly what you said. It's such a meat and potatoes place, man. Everything's old and sweaty, and we're kind of broken and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't know what kind of updates they've done to it, whatever. I'm sure they've done some stuff, but it's exactly that. It's a humble pie of a place, man. You walk in and it's just like, oh,
yeah,
like we're gonna do some work in here.
It's so ugly, but it's so nice.
That's great,
right?
So, the interesting thing just about what you were saying is you kind of got to be the student,
yeah,
again,
I loved it.
which you probably don't get a lot of that anymore. And then you got to watch somebody who's kind of you in a different domain.
That's what I loved,
which was a cool thing to be able to see and to take part in. But the nice point that you made there, especially for the kids going into something like that, where it's especially something like boxing, especially for boys, and especially if they're athletes. When you walk into something like boxing or where you're working on fighting, everybody wants to think they know how to fight. Everyone wants to think they know how to throw a punch already. Everybody wants to think that they can do this and they don't need all this help and whatever, because there's a little bit of like embarrassment about not knowing or not being tough, or not
unlike going to a gym when you're not strong.
Exactly.
Yet. Not
it's
unlike
exactly
that.
The same thing, right?
There's that learning curve.
Probably even worse though, because it's even more of an ego hit to not be able to throw the punch. Because like in the gym, there's a bit of that tough guy thing, right? Where it's like if you can lift a lot, it's kind of like a proxy for being tough or like being strong or something like that. And when you're in the boxing club, that is exactly what it is. It's like, if you're not good at this, you'll get beat up. So it's really an ego hit if you are being told by somebody that you're no good,
Yep.
So, but to your point about the humility piece, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, boxing is just kind of the best example of it, or being in a physical altercation is the best example of it. Because if you're not humble, you will actually get hurt, or you
won't win.
You won't win, right? And so it's important that you can have the maturity to have the humility when you're in situations like that, even if, like you were kind of alluded to the fact that the guy kind of wanted to be the boss and like tell you and whatever. Yeah. But
he did, and just to be clear, there's zero negative.
Right.
He just, what I took from it is like, he grabbed me, heard you want to be here, and he wanted to spend time showing,
that's
and
fine.
He wanted, so it was like awesome.
Right. But my point
Give him the time.
But my point of that is, even if you come across a trainer that rubs you the wrong way, not that he did, I'm just as an example. Even if you come across somebody who seems like a know-it-all, or they're a little bit arrogant about what they're teaching, at the end of the day, you probably will be able to take something from this person. So instead of getting, ego hurt or whatever, because they seem to be dictating to you what to do and all that kind of stuff, having the humility is just that's how you're going to learn, because there's something to learn from anywhere that you look. And, kind of just on a related note, I had a kid ask me a question yesterday about, or a few days ago, made a video about it. Is there anything that we can take from bodybuilders, like as athletes training? And there's tons, right? There's tons. So you don't want to go.
Don't necessarily do the program.
Yeah, right. But there's pieces of everything. Yeah. It's like Are there things that you can take from boxing to apply to hockey? Of course. But boxing's not hockey, right? Bodybuilding is not hockey, but there are things you can take from everything, right? So you don't want to go in with your ego so big that you are just like, not listening to that, not doing that, or what do you know? You're old, like this kind of stuff, you know? So it's important. It's just, I wanted to highlight that point that you made because I think it's important.